Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. I see in your news today that the BWU and Preconco settled some matters, and the things that they settled, it didn't amount to money. They provided shoes, safety shoes, and here, staff safety shoes, and they're talking about added health and safety measures. But the key thing here in this blog I received, and I'm sorry I got it many days ago, but it's the hiring practices. The company has hired private subcontractors, paying them more money than the staff. And the staff there, they have to train the subcontractors, and they're getting paid less. And let me see. We the staff, they still have to train them in daily works for the company. Now they're hiring new workers and paying them more than the previous staff. It's right here, paying them more than the previous staff. And people are at Preconco. I don't know how this is even possible, but this blogger is saying that people were working at Preconco for 20 years and have never received an increase in pay, okay? Never got a raise in pay. And staff were also laid off during December period without notice, and the subcontractors were still on the job, okay? They were still on the job, okay? So this whole Preconco off the job, and now you're back on the job and you're doing the negotiations, really and truly, you need to put Preconco out of business. You're going to need to move as though you are ready to go on the breadline and put that particular company out of business. You got to get serious. There's never been a strike in Barbados. I'm going to stick to that. What you do is nothing. You accomplish nothing, because if you were to really go on a strike, you wouldn't be worried about not getting paid or not getting raises and having to train people. You're training people to take over your jobs. That would not be an issue if you were to really go on strike. You need to go on strike with the understanding that you're going to close the business down. And the owners of the business have to look you in the face and say, these people are ready to close us down. They're going to have to see it behind your eyes. They're going to have to see it in you that you're ready to close everything down. And they cannot rename, they cannot rebrand, they cannot go somewhere. You are going to close them down forever. That's how you have to move. You've never done it. It will be a novel thing. But you're going to have to move like that to get the respect you deserve and you want. You want respect, right? So how is it that you are not getting a raise? Some people are there 20. How is it even possible? I can't wrap my head around that. How is it even possible? Even if you didn't ask for a raise, you would think the employer would throw some money at you. You would think, just I don't know. They're making money. Preconco is making money. They're always, employed. They're always working on some sort of project. They're out there. The name Preconco is out there. Okay, so you're gonna move differently with an employer that would keep someone for 20 years and keep them in such a state that they didn't even ask for a raise. It's almost as though, if you were to go in and ask for a raise, that would be your last day. So your mind was so trained not to even go there. And you worked for 20 years for the same salary, and your employer allowed that. You had an employer that allowed someone to work for. I cannot get over this. persons are here 20 years. I've never received a raise in pay. I cannot get over that. I cannot get over that. They're talking about the changing room where people are very uncomfortable because it's where you get your 45 minutes lunch break, and you have to change in that same room, and it's dirty, and workers, have to eat lunch in the same place, and there are cameras inside. There are cameras inside the changing room. No breaks, 45 minutes for lunch, no breaks. Okay, it's usually when it's really bad, they'll give you a 30-minute lunch break and 15 minutes for a break. So it comes out to be an hour. So you get 45 minutes straight off the bat, no breaks, okay? So they're talking about the mistreatment and disrespect of the staff of Preconco. So what they're working out here, the talks to settle issues, shoes, giving someone a pair of shoes does not resolve the mistreatment and disrespect. Okay, giving someone a pair of shoes, that doesn't cut it. And they're talking about providing personal protective equipment. That would be shoes. That would be shoes. And he added that the health and safety section of the Ministry of Labor is set to conduct reviews of key pieces of equipment identified by staff who have challenges. Okay, so there's a lot more to happen. But what I really do think, I'm giving this to you, the people at Preconco, when you walk off a job and you're dealing with a union, there's a Barbados Workers Union, BWU. When you walk off a job, you don't go back until everything is settled. You do not go back until everything is settled, because you can see from the mentality of Preconco bosses that they intend to keep you as a slave. You can see the intent. You can see that, because I'm telling you that even if you were to have an employee and they're working, even if they didn't come and ask for a raise, at some point within your conscience, if you had one, within some kind, you have to, the company has to have a set of moral guidelines, something, bylaws, something, the backbone of why that company actually exists. They have to have that. They have to have a motto, okay? And if you're saying that within the backbone of who they are, they would allow someone to work 20 years. 20 years, the cost of living in Barbados is horrendous. It's horrendous. And they will allow you to work 20 years without even giving you a raise. That's not part of their makeup. It's not part of the system there, that they can say it's actually written out in their laws, the bylaws they use to govern and to work that particular business. Is it not part that everyone every year should be considered for a raise? Isn't that part of it? Isn't that part of it? You guys should never have gone back. You guys should never ever have gone back. Okay? When you walk off a job because of disrespect and mistreatment, when you go back, that money in your pocket, your salary should erase all that. You won't have to worry about mistreatment. You won't have to worry about disrespect, because the money will show that they respect you, and the money they give you will show that there's no mistreatment, because they're paying you well. They're paying you well. You don't worry about being mistreated or being disrespected because you got money that you can buy your house. You could go to the bar on Friday nights and you can hang with the guys and you could have a good time and erase whatever you may have had in you that they were doing to you. It's all erased by money. Money is an equalizer. It's a great equalizer, okay? And you don't worry about shit like that when you're getting paid. You don't worry about stuff like that once you're getting paid. Your money will equalize all that, okay? So never walk off a job and then go back and what? Still being talked here? Still being talked to settle? You're still talking to settle and you're back on the job? Why don't you show Barbadian children, because this is who you are appealing for. This is who you are. You need to be the mentors. You need to show the young people coming up how they should move. Okay, you are their teachers. You are their teachers. They look to you. And you have to show them that when you stand up, because sometimes you are knocked down. Life knocks you down. But when you stand up, when you get up, you need to show the youngsters. You don't move. You don't budge. It's like, bring it on. Bring it on. You have to have that bring it on kind of mentality, the fortitude, the determination, the bravado. You need to have that in you. Bring it on. We will close this motherfucker down. We're going to close you down. We're going to close you down. That's how you have to be. That's where you need to go. That's where you need to go. You need to stand for your rights. And don't go back and then talk about talks to settle issues. It will be settled because you're back on the job. It will be settled because you're back on the job. Close Preconco down. Close them down. Close them down. Close them down. This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.